Hi, my name is Levi, and today we wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about measuring. On job sites, success isn't an accident, and the littlest details matter, and that's why I wanted to kind of go over measuring. When I started out pouring epoxy years ago, there was a lot of things I learned the hard way, and one thing I learned the hard way is when you're dealing with 100% solids epoxies, little tiny minute measurements make a big difference. Say you're 8% off on mix ratio, it still will harden and you'll still feel like it's a really hard surface, but instead of curing out to say somewhere around 15,000 psi, it's probably going to cure out somewhere around 8,000 or 7,000. That doesn't sound bad, but what you'll start getting is cup rings due to prolonged heat exposure in a cup and things like that. Now, a lot of people tell me the same thing that I told my guys, my crews, myself, is, hey, I'm measuring very accurately when I'm using the measuring containers. So I always set the measuring container flat on the surface because I'm not going to trust my hand to be leveling it or anything like that. And I pour very slowly. I'm always pouring hardener first, and then as I pour the resin, a lot of our resins, such as a UV, the resin base is a little bit thicker viscosity, so you have to stop a little sooner so you can be accurate so it lands properly on the 1-to-1 ratio line wherever you decided to stop, say if you're measuring 16. What you end up getting with that, though, often is a very off ratio mix, and that's not your fault, it's the fault of the container. And I'm not going to name any names here, but I'll just go over some of the details I've noticed. Generally, these are all printed, and I'm sorry about the nails. I'm not sorry about them. My little girl did these, and she's beautiful, way prettier than she did my nails. So that's what those are about. The graduations are printed on the side of the container. So since it's printed, there is some leeway in the process and room for failure. Now, generally they're mixing paints and solvent-based products and water-based products where there's evaporation, so having an exact cure and an exact ratio isn't quite as important as it is with our products. One good rule of thumb I started going with to kind of save myself some of the pain of off-ratio mixes is I try to get the correct container for the volume of mix I'm using. Most of these containers are much more accurately at the higher volume mixes. So say you're trying to mix 16 ounces and you're using this container. 16 ounces could be pretty difficult to measure in here accurately because it's probably going to be very far off if the line is printed just a little bit up or down from where it's supposed to be on the container. Whereas if you're measuring 48 or 64, it would be more accurate. Basically, if it was say an 1/8 inch or a 1/4 inch off, say they printed this a 1/4 inch down, and you poured your hardener first, you're gonna think you had enough hardener very quickly in that container when you're way off on your measurement. Whereas if it was poured a 1/4 inch down and you're pouring 32, you're probably, instead of being 20% off on a small mix, you're probably gonna be something like 3% off or 2% off. And that's kind of what I would say is the most margin for error you wanna kind of give yourself. So here I'm gonna do a little bit of math on a scale. I pre-measured the exact weight of 4 fluid ounces in a cup. And I'm just going to show you a cup on a scale and show you, we're going to pour that exact volume and show you exactly where it lands on the cup. So right here we have what we measured as exactly 4 fluid ounces in this container, and I'm going to make sure this is on the scale. The scale is flat and level on the table. I'm going to zero the scale out, and I'm going to pour the exact volume . Now 4 fluid ounces should be just barely over 2.6, which is exactly what I just poured in here. And as you can see, we are well below the line of 4 ounces because the graduations on this container were definitely printed up from where they were supposed to be. So that kind of exemplifies how far off we could have been with our mix had we thought we were going to mix very accurately for a 16 ounce, or sorry, rather an 8 ounce pour. That problem can only get worse with larger mixed containers. So I dealt with this a little bit, I'd seen it, I'd talked to my crew about it, and I hadn't really made a big deal of it. And then one time we were on a floor at a sheriff's department and we poured a pretty large logo, and I believe what happened is they were measured for a coating over the top of a logo. They measured a very small volume in a 5-gallon mixing pail, and this is the exact type of mixing pail they used. Now, since they were measuring the smallest 2-to-1 ratio measurement they could measure in the container to cover the logo with, it turned out to be way far off. And although it did harden, it took another coat, and it took about 4 weeks for that to fully harden up. We actually got the building over 100 degrees to cure it out too. So just remember, little details matter. They all add up. There's a lot of things that are impacted by having an off ratio mix, such as color stability, impact resistance, cupperings. Being on a countertop is one of the quickest and easiest ways to see it. Often people, I think, have off ratio mixes and slightly soft countertops, but because they're not picky people, or they might not really look at it, or it's a light color where they don't really see the reflection, they never realize they're getting cupperings and stuff like that, but it doesn't mean it's not happening. So the best way I say is set yourself up for success and make sure that if you're measuring a small volume mix, you use a small volume container. As you see, we have many different measuring containers here. So it's very easy to get some of these. If you need any kind of help or recommendations, you can always call the office and they'll help you find the best mixing container. But just remember to be accurate. If you're measuring a small volume mix, use a small volume container. If you're measuring a large volume mix, obviously you're gonna need the larger container. The next thing, really simple, not a big deal, is stick size. Now, I know it's crazy, but you can whip a ton of air into a tiny little batch like this. Say something very common is we're gonna measure out 2 fluid ounces a container like this. Now already that's probably gonna have more likelihood to be off ratio because it's a very low volume mix in a smaller but medium sized container. And what I see all the time is somebody mixing with this and wondering how they get air bubbles in it. So remember, you can always use a tongue depressor. They're very inexpensive. A popsicle stick. There's all types of little mixing sticks you can buy at Michael's or craft stores, wherever you're at. But just remember, be accurate with the little details. Leave your cup setting. Make sure your resin is acclimated to the temperature inside the room. And if you have questions, just call the office, and we'll walk you through anything. But we want to always help you kind of get over some of these common misconceptions and kind of mistakes that we've all made when we started out. So hope you guys have a good day and that you're blessing somebody during this whole COVID-19 thing. So have a good day. Bye.